This is South Coast Kane. It's another edition of Patio Perspectives. And I wanted to come on here. Woohoo! And I wanted to be transparent and honest with you fine folks. Um, Due to recent situations, honestly, I had thought about packing it in, called it quits. It's not worth it. I don't feel like dealing with the bullshit. But, I was called the number 3 most hated Canes fan. Um, I've been judged. I've been, I've been raked over the coals. But I'm gonna get it right. Hang on. But I saw, for some reason, one of the bottom of the map videos was on my recommended YouTube videos or whatever it's called. And what's up, Cuban? Oh, and I mean, I've seen all of them. I've seen all of Ike and Israel's work. And I watched it, and it was before the shades, before the Stevie Wonder look for Israel. And I heard and I listened to what he said. And I thought to myself, you know what? Nah, I'm not punking out. I'm not going. No, I will not be defeated. And, we know about the CCC. Well, apparently, there is an enforcement agency under the CCC that I am calling the CFP, the Canes Fans Police. Okay? And the CFP is those. It's about to get real. It's about to get real. This is why nobody likes me. This is why 850 Kane and Rocky and all of them call me what I am. I don't care. I would tell you IDAGF, okay? But the CFP comes out because they have been delusionally influenced by the man behind the curtain, okay? And anybody who says anything against what the CCC stands for, the CFP is going to enforce their will. Oh Lord, we got the great Lord have mercy. I gotta get a bigger screen. David Game, the Gray. Let's call him the Gray. What's up, y'all? So here's the thing. It was. Nobody's up all the way. Anyway, here's the thing. I felt like, my opinions my thoughts, my theories, my honest opinions have they have offended folks. They have rubbed people the wrong way. And I kind of felt bad. Well, David Game, if you speak Portuguese, I can't help you, buddy. Not much Portuguese being spoken in South Louisiana. But anyway, I felt like, you know, my thoughts, my theories, my opinions, my philosophies have pissed off a lot of people, and I kind of felt bad about that. And, I guess I kind of, how can I say it? I went all snowflake, but you know what? Nah, dude. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I am not going to, it's not going to happen. Okay? I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to say what I think. And you know what? If you don't like it, I don't care. All right? I do not base my opinions, my philosophies, my theories on who can I piss off. No, I'm just telling you what I think. And if it upsets you, that's not my problem. I don't care. Juan Kang, what's up, dude? And we've been in this off season, and I guess, and Cuban, you know what I'm about. You know what I'm about to. You understand what I'm about to say, but it's got to the point with the off season. Okay, with Miami Hurricanes football, and that everybody has to prove themselves right. Everybody, it's like you have all these shows on the YouTube, and be it a call-in, be it a chat, be it a whatever, everybody feels like they have to be right. They have to be correct. They have to be whatever makes them happy in their own personal mindset. And like I'm just gonna say it. Coach Hayes shows, the last 2 or 3 Coach Hayes shows. I know it started with the Rocky versus Cuban debate, and my thing is, people validate their justification based on being right. And right now in the off season, okay, right now, everybody's right, everybody's wrong. Hey, I'm on the phone. Puppy dog's having fun. But what I'm getting at is, right now there are no, everybody's right, everybody's wrong. Nobody, you can come out and prove your point based on whatever. Okay? And, if I am considered the number 3 most hated Canes fan, I don't care. Okay? I've been through the highs of the 80s. I've been through the dark ages of the 90s. I've been through the last 20 years. Does that make me a better Canes fan? No. Does it make me a worse Canes fan? No. I'm just saying I've been there. I've experienced it. Okay? And, you got these... You got these folks that sit there and they listen to the CCC, and that Miami's having the biggest recruiting weekend of all time. Dude, I've heard that before. I've heard that every time. I've heard that so much that I just don't care. You know, and you have these alleged big recruiting weekends, but yet none of those recruits sign. You know, and then how can I say this without talking? I don't want to sound like I'm talking bad about the young men that are trying to get a college scholarship and get a spot on the roster, but what has happened to University of Miami football when a three-star recruit signs and everybody is excited? Okay? Maybe the three-star recruit can be developed, but not at Miami. And everybody, a three-star recruit, a two-star recruit signs, and everybody just loses their shit. You know? And it's like, I guess I'm just tired of the bullshit. I really am. You know? And I guess I got frustrated and I just felt like, you know what? If it's me against the world, I don't care. I've come to the realization and the conclusion that I don't care. If you don't like what I have to say, if you don't like what I look like, if you just don't care for my if you don't care for my channel, don't watch it. Don't go on another channel and insult me. Okay? Just because I talk I just call, all because I feel like Carson Beck looks like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. 850 Kane wants to get all up in his feelings or their feelings. I don't care. If you don't like it, I don't care. All right? Call me what you want. Insult me as you want. I don't care. I'm going to give my opinion. All right? I'm going to utilize this YouTube platform and give my opinion. Okay? I don't care. I'm going to tell you what I think. And if you don't like it, I don't care. You know, I'm gonna wear my jersey from I got, and it's from the Daryl Lawson, I think his name was, number 97. I'm gonna wear it. You know why I'm gonna wear it from the late 90s? Because between 95 to 2000, more was done to improve the Hurricanes football team with more obstacles than what's going on now. Call me a Mario hater. No, I'm not a Mario hater. I just don't like what the head coach is doing right now at Miami, who happens to be Mario. At one time, it was Manny Diaz. At one time, it was Al Golden. At one time, it was Randy Shannon. At one time, it was Larry Coker. Do you see where I'm getting at? Okay? I don't care who the head coach is. It is the head coach. ME300. What's up, dude? Or, what's up? I can't, sit here and say what the individual is vis-a-vis dude or dudette. I can't do that because I don't know, so I'll just say, what's up? So here's the thing. Here we are. It's the middle of June. Everybody has these illusions of grandeur on Miami. Oh, you got some folks that sit there and say, we're still 2 to 3 years away from rebuilding to a championship program. And all the while, Mario is a master recruiter who's brought in all these recruiting classes since 2022, but yet 4 to 5 out of 10 are leaving. So here's my thing. Again, like I said, I was honestly thinking about packing it in, just giving up, punking out. But I did watch one of the bottom of the map videos. It was Israel, and I saw and heard what he said, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I can't do that. I can't punk out. If anything, nothing's gonna break my stride. I'm I'm just gonna I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. And you know what? And no disrespect to Rocky, but you want to call me number three hated Canes fan? Cool. I don't care. You want to call me this obese clown or what? I don't care, A50 Kane. I don't care. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You don't have to listen to me. Okay? Damn, 4 a.m. Good Lord. So what's happening in the future, ME300? But yeah, it's it's the same old thing. This is the same thing that's been going on since the old message boards of grassy.com. These kids today think that they're onto something new. Uh, they go and have a little chit chat on the message boards, and they get on these other YouTube shows and come up with some of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard, you know. And the thing that they're forgetting, I'm going to get on the next Hayes show, and I know Cuban. But see, here's the thing. They these young folks, I say young folks, but these individuals get on there and they talk about the great recruiting classes. They talk about how, this is how they contradict themselves. They talk about the great recruiting classes, but then they talk about how Mario has mastered the portal. But why has Mario mastered the portal? Good question, you ask. Well, let me tell you my opinion. It's because all the recruits come in, and for whatever reason, Mario and them still get players at the portal. So if I'm a new recruit and I see, well, hell, you keep bringing these cats in the portal, I'll never see the field. Why should I even try? Yeah, ME300. I saw that about the airplane. That was very tragic, and thoughts and prayers and rest in peace to those who didn't make it. But my thing is, the reason why Mario is going into the portal is because all the recruits are leaving. Now, why are the recruits leaving? I don't know. You wouldn't have to go in the portal if you had the recruits staying. And what I mean is, this is year 4 for Mario. Year 4. This should be his penultimate, if I said that correctly, class. This should be, the folks that he brought in 2022, they should be redshirt seniors, redshirt juniors, whatever. But they're not, because they all leave. Why do they leave? And nobody wants to address that issue. All they want to say is, it's crazy the game they play. They first start by saying, "Oh, we have all these recruits coming into Miami," and then all of a sudden it's, well, Mario is mastering the portal, and then it's, well, whatever. It's like they keep deflecting, they keep denying that the fact of the matter is 4 to 5 out of 10 recruits since 2022 has left Miami. They don't want to answer that question. But you know what? All this off-season stuff, I don't care. I don't care. When the ball hits the field on game day, that's what we talk about. Because when it comes to game day, there are no opinions. There is no gray area. There are no variables in the equation. It's game day, you know? And all this all this talk about, and Cuban, I'm not picking on you, but when it comes to what coaches have had more players drafted and this and that, that's great debate. But for me personally, I don't care. I don't care if Randy Shannon had more players drafted. I don't care if Manny had more. I don't care. The only thing I'm concerned about is what happens on the playing field on game day. That's all. And like last year, okay, Miami goes 10-2, 10-3 with the bowl game. Okay, and what did that 10-2 regular season record get you? The same thing as 6-6. And I'm not picking on Rocky, but he made the comment about what the tuna dude said. You are what your record says you are. Okay, 10-2 got you the same thing as 6-6. It got you nothing more, nothing less. Miami had the chance. They were 10-1. Went to Syracuse, New York. They had a chance. All they had to do was win the game, and they're in the ACC championship. Went up 21-point lead against Syracuse, and what happened? The defense crapped the bed. But of course, Mario, the micromanager, the one who wants to control everything on the team. Apparently, he didn't care about the defense. Now, if Miami would have beat Syracuse, am I saying that they would have won the ACC? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. Ever since the South Florida game, I believe it was. I believe it was South Florida. I said, man, this defense is not going to win a championship. You got to have a defense to win a championship. That's another thing, Cuban. Oh my gosh. What? I know it's the athletic department, PR department, but when in the hell did Malagoa all of a sudden become a first round potential pick or potential first round pick? Everything I saw said, not really. And let's be honest, right tackles are not that big a commodity in the NFL. You want the left tackle. Watch The Blind Side, they'll tell you. But here's my thing. Hopefully. Yeah, I agree. Based on what I've seen on the playing field, on game day, Malagoa should be a guard because you know Malagoa and Bell were not developed last year. They were not. I know everybody talks about how great of an offensive line coach Maribel is, but he ain't no Kehoe. He's no Strickland, you know. And if you don't like it, I don't care. You know, Kehoe was screwed by Coker. And I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not going to get into all that. Damn flies, get out my cup. But here's the thing. From what I saw, and I'm no guru, I do not profess to be a guru, but from what I saw, the offensive line play from, week 1 till week 12 was basically the same. Poor Markel, that big old dude, nobody taught him how to get quicker. Malagoa was getting beat. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Okay? This is what they're not going to tell you. That, they'll talk about how Malagoa only gave up maybe 1 sack the whole year. He's a first round pick. But what they don't tell you, what underlies all that BS is Cam Ward got, damn it, Cam Ward worked his way out of that mess that the offensive line was putting him in. Bell is sitting with Mount McKinney. He will be. I hope so. I hope Bell gets better. I hope Malagoa gets better. I hope the whole offensive line is better. But so far, since we were not allowed to watch the spring game, okay, and I refuse to watch the highlights from the CCC. I refuse. But since we were not allowed to watch this spring game, I don't know what we're working with. All I can go on is what I saw last. And the offensive line did not improve. I'm just saying. Now, if the offensive line comes out against Notre Dame and they do what they're supposed to, I'll give them props. Cautiously optimistic. Week 2, as long as it stays and it's the sustained success. Okay? Don't give me this stuff about 2024. You do all this stuff until you start playing ACC competition and you shit the bed. Don't give me this. Oh, shit. What was it? 2022, 2023, go 4-0. Finally beat A&M, and then you shit the bed. It's just the same old thing. It's the same thing. It's like you say, Cuban, wash, rinse, repeat. But unfortunately, the CCC, okay, just like the Wizard at the Wizard of Oz, sitting behind the curtain, telling the Lion, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and Dorothy and Toto to bring him the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. That's exactly what the CCC is doing. And the CCC has these delusionalized folks. I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it because I really don't care. But the CFP is basically the brown shirts of the CCC. Okay? And if you know who the brown shirts were, you know what I'm saying. The CFP, the Canes Fans Police, the ones who are all in with the CCC, they're basically the brown shirts for the CCC. And that if anybody says anything that contradicts the CCC, okay, you are a Canes. You're not a true fan. You're a Canes hater. Plain and simple. You just go out there. You'll see it. You know? And Cuban, I'm probably like one of two people that like you. Okay? But let's be honest with ourselves, Cuban. Let's be honest. The debate, as it was labeled a couple of shows ago with Coach Hayes. I mean, what are you going to debate? In other words, it's all speculation and opinion right now. There is nothing to. There is no right, there is no wrong. Okay? Now, we get into September, October. Okay, yeah, we can have some talks. We can debate. You got facts on the field. But right now, QB, what's up, dude? It's right now. Everybody's right, everybody's wrong. I said that last year. And see, this is where the propaganda and the agenda is pushed, in that pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I am the great and mighty Oz. But, and again, the fact of the matter is, this is what a lot of people miss, is that all of us, no matter your opinions, your thoughts, your theories, it doesn't matter where you're at, it doesn't matter what kind of opinion you have, we all want Miami to succeed, and we want them to succeed and continuously succeed. Okay? And when some of us see what's going on, we see the trends, we see the tendencies, it's like, hold up, y'all need to calm down. And then all of a sudden, you're a hater. But I think what it boils down to is a lot of us are just frustrated. A lot of us are just tired of getting so close and then falling off the mountain. It's kind of like the Price is Right game where the alpine climber goes up and then, But anyway, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I really hope, I hope Carson Beck, Sid the Sloth, comes out there. I hope he's protected as far as the offensive line. I hope that happens. I really do. I hope the running game with Fletcher and them, I hope it works. I hope the receiving core is top notch as always. And I hope that this, sizzling bacon dude, I hope he's good. I hope the defense comes out and the secondary is finally decent for once. I hope that this record-setting shot put dude, that big Paul Bunyan white dude, I hope he does come to Miami. And I hope he makes a difference. I do. I really do. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me and my friends inside this big melon head. But I've seen and heard and witnessed the same song and dance for 20, 21 years. I have. And it's just, a lot of people, a lot of folks get tied up, and they subscribe to players, they subscribe to coaches, and that's cool. That's fine. I'm not here to tell you you're right or wrong. If you want to be a Mario guy, be a Mario guy. I don't care. Me, I look at the head coach who happens to be Mario. All right. And right now, the head coach who happens to be Mario, it could be it could be John Smith. I don't care. But right now, the head coach has allowed the defense from last season to just mess over the team. You know, and don't don't get me started on why Cam Ward was only paid $1 million and Carson Beck $4+ million. Don't get me started. So, it is what it is. But I will say this, as the number 3 most hated Canes fan, if I want to surpass number 2, okay, I'm not going to mention who number 2 is. I think I need to check out old Big Groove and see what number 1 is doing. Because, if I'm going to be king of the hill, if I want to be king of the hill, I got to see what number 1 is doing. Okay? But anyway, I get, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. But I'm at the point, seriously, I'm at the point, you know what? If I upset people, it's not intentional. Okay? I don't come and I don't sit there and think, okay, how am I going to piss off whoever? I'm not going to do it. All right, Canes baseball. Canes baseball. So, as you know, last weekend, Miami played Louisville in the Super Regional. Okay. And honestly, I will say that the guys on the team, scrappy team, they came out and they got some runs across. The pitchers actually threw some strikes. But, as far as Mr. Cuvée goes, and I really like the young man, he kind of a prototypical Ryan Braun, Pat Burrell. Okay. To Mr. Cuvée, you don't have to win the game on one swing, dude. Just get up there, just hit the ball. Use your God-given ability. Just meet the ball. Okay, you don't have to sit there and swing for Tennessee. All right. Oh, dude, don't get me started on the umpire. Oh man, the strike zone was crazy, Cuban. The strike zone was crazy. But I will say this: as much as those young men on the mound tried, since JD has been, he was pitching coach for like 50 years. I have still yet to see Miami develop a good starting 4-man rotation that can throw strikes consistently. I have yet to see Miami have a 4-man rotation that can hit the low to mid 90s consistently. Okay? And let's face it, when JD was a pitcher, he was one of those crafty left-handers, which means he couldn't throw any velocity, so he had to rely on the movement of the ball. Okay? And I'm not anti JD, okay? But tell me what pitching staff in the last 20 years has been developed And what pitching staff has been successful since JD was the pitching coach and now the head coach? All right. Oh, let's face it. In the regionals against Southern Miss, okay. Oh, a pitcher from Miami. Forgive me for my lack of memory, but he was throwing strikes and he did well. He kept Southern Miss out of sorts, but Southern Miss was trying. They were about to come back. And you know, luckily, time had ran out, and Miami prevailed. Okay, and I'm happy. Look, I am so glad they won the regional, and thank God. Oh my gosh, look, would have, could have, should have. But could you imagine if Miami had to play Vanderbilt in Nashville? You know? But my thing is, with Louisville, they have that first game, I guess they got, Miami just got, you know, just enthralled by all of it. But, Miami came out in game two, looked good. I'm like, hey, this team's looking pretty good. And then that third game, Miami just didn't have the pitching staff. And I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of glad, Miami didn't go to the World Series, because Miami would have been embarrassed, because Miami doesn't have the pitching staff to do a College World Series. They don't. Okay, and the hitting was good. I mean, scrappy, get out there, hit the ball. Cuvée needs to stop trying to swing for the fences every time he gets up there. Be more disciplined. But I don't think it's so much. I agree, Cuban. I agree. I agree. I think that, with the baseball team, you have these talented young men. You got pitchers. They can do it. They've proved it. But again, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And, I don't understand in this day and age of NIL, okay? And then plus they said the schools could actually pay the kids now. It doesn't have to be, John Smith Buick Chevrolet paying somebody. It could be the school. I don't understand why in South Florida you can't find 4 guys that can throw 95, 96, low off speed, low curve, and hit the strike zone consistently. How can you not find anybody in South Florida that can do that? Hell, go get Erguato from Puerto Rico. Bring him in. Find somebody in the Caribbean that can do it. And I'm not trying to be funny, but those guys down in the Caribbean can play their ass off. Those Caribbean kids, they don't have tournament ball. They don't have the $400 glove. They don't have the $500 baseball bat. They don't have the, $10,000 baseball facility. Those poor folks down in the Caribbean, they're playing on dirt fields with rocks, but they're out there playing. Costs too much, Cuban. You can pay Carson Beck with a broken arm $4+ million to quarterback for 1 year, but you can't get some kids out the Caribbean to play baseball. You know, no disrespect, Cuban, but I have to disagree. Don't give me the it costs too much. When you pay Carson Beck a broken left arm, broken elbow, you pay him $4 million+ to play 1 year at quarterback for Miami, but you can't get a decent 4-man pitching rotation for the baseball team. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what. Okay? I'm going to tell you what. They don't have to throw mid-90s. They can throw low 90s. Just throw strikes. Because I will tell you this. I was impressed with the defensive play in the infield and outfield. They look, I mean, kind of had a little hiccup here and there, but the defensive play in the infield and outfield was really good. It's just that the pitching staff, I mean, again, development. All right? JD had these cats. Couldn't develop a pitching staff. That's all I'm saying. That's just my opinion. But now, since, JD took them to the Super Regional, JD is the next Ron Frazier. And I can tell you right now, there is not going to be another Miami coach that is even close to Ron Frazier. Because Ron Frazier did so much more with so much less than what these kids and these coaches have today. Just saying. Well, I don't know if it's so much of a disagreement as much as, again, you can bring in a broken left-elbowed white boy from Georgia who looks like Sid the Sloth. You can pay him $4+ million to quarterback for 1 year. But you can't get a decent 4-man pitching rotation? I mean, am I the only one who... Am I just some crazy old fool from South Louisiana? I don't know. You know what I mean? And I understand. College baseball is not as sexy as college football. It's not as big a revenue source as college football. And I get it. Okay, I get it. But I just... in this day and age, because we are told, yesterday's prices are not today's prices, or vice versa, and it's a whole new age. It's different than what it was, and that's how they validate the football situation. So let's validate the baseball situation, shall we? Because if it's true for football, it should be true for baseball. Because, the NIL is for all sports. See what I'm doing there? If you can pay $4 million for a quarterback with a broken left elbow, then you should be able to get a 4-man pitching rotation. Then that's been Miami's problem for a while now. You get that Friday night starter, and then that's it. You may have a reliever, a 1 to 2 inning reliever, closer, but what's the pitching coach doing for the rest of the staff? And I'm just... baseball is a simple sport. You hit, you catch, and you throw strikes as a pitcher. That's really all you do. You just hit and catch. And throw strikes. That's all you got to do. And I just, honestly, as happy as I was for the young men making it to the super regional and stuff, I'm just I'm just as equally disappointed in the head coaching, the coaching staff that let these young men down. You know, I'm just saying. That one game where Miami, that's what pissed me off. That during the regional, Miami had that Sunday night game against Southern Miss, and basically nobody cared about the game. Let Southern Miss score 10, 12, 15, 20 points. You know. Oh. But my thing was JD and the boys had a chance to just get rid of them, knock them out. You had your foot on their throat. Southern Miss was, all Miami had to do was win Sunday night last week, and they're in to Super Regional. Just go ahead, get rid of it. Don't let them linger. But they did, you know. Oh, and you're right, Cuban. You're right. If the football team would just get out there and play and be, just get out there and play and be instructed and be led by coaching staff, you know. And my thing is, if the teams get out there and just get out physical, if they just get ran over, just outmanned, just get run over, but they tried, that's a different story. As opposed to, running back for the opposing team goes off left tackle and the defense is going to the right tackle and there's nobody there. When you sit there and you see the defensive backs like, they don't know what to do. It's just, you got to do better. Got to do better. Got to do better. But regardless of the fact, we are, what, 2 months and a couple of weeks away from the start of the 2025 season. I see where Coach Coop had the audacity to put a video out on his way too early season prediction. I thought that was pretty ballsy of Coop, but it is what it is. It's cool. If you want to do it, do it. And I'm going to say right now, what's today? June 14th. June 14th. As far as the 2025 season goes, I was pissed, he said, about if we ain't losing to Bethune. If we lose to Bethune, pack it in, baby. Pack it in. No disrespect to Bethune. Okay? No disrespect to Bethune. But if Miami loses to Bethune, pack it in. It's over. But I'll say this. Everybody's going to, as the, upcoming weeks and months transpire, everybody's going to be about what the season record is going to be. A lot of folks will say, 9-3, 10-2, whatever, 12-0. That's cool. Me personally, this is just my opinion. Okay, number 3. I'm number 3. Just win the ACC. Just win the damn ACC for the first time since 2004. Okay? I'm not even going to say make it to the ACC championship game. No, just win the ACC. Plain and simple. I don't care if you win the ACC at 8-4, 7-5, 9-3, 12-0. I don't care. And that's another thing. A lot of folks that are on this YouTube, whatever, they're more worried about the numbers of the record than win the ACC. Okay? Win the damn ACC for the first time. I don't give a damn what the record is. We could be 5-6, 5-7. I don't care. Win the ACC, because then you can move on to the championship. And the reason why I am harping on winning the ACC, okay? Yeah, we lost to FAMU like back in the 70s in Tallahassee, way back when. Okay? See, I see what you're doing, Cuban. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Okay? Miami's like what, 10-1 against FAMU, and Miami lost back in the late 70s in Tallahassee to FAMU, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what I'm getting at is, it's nothing against the FAMUs. It's nothing against Bethune-Cookmans. It's nothing against those fine folks. It's just the fact of the matter is, we are Miami. Okay, a Division I, Power 5 conference team. Okay, and there's no reason why a SWAC team, again, no disrespect, I'm not saying the SWAC is a secondary. I got a lot of good friends that are Southern fans and a lot of good friends that are Southern graduates. Okay, I'm not downplaying the SWAC. No, I'm just saying, when you have a Division I Power 5 school taking on a Division II team, it should be a victory for the Division I team. That's all I'm saying. No disrespect to the SWAC, okay? No disrespect, okay? But it's, I don't know. See, Cuban, you didn't think I knew that Miami lost to FAMU. Didn't think I knew that, did you? I see what you're doing. That's why you lose all them debates to Rocky. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. But, you know, and I tell you what, I know you didn't lose. Because again, Cuban, hey, at this time of year, everybody's right, everybody's wrong. People are going to pull whatever they can out the back pocket to make themselves right. And honestly, if you want to be right, be right. I don't care. Right now, I don't care. But I will say this. And I don't care. I don't care. You know, once the season starts, okay, if things are not successful, and I hope they are, I think they will be. But, you know, if they're not, I will be critical. And you can call me whatever clown you want to. You can say I'm whatever most hated Miami fan. I don't care. But tell me, please, I want somebody to tell me, what have I said that is based on opinion and what has been based on game day gameplay. Okay? If I get something wrong on what I see during game day, okay, I'll be the first one to say, okay, I was wrong. But don't sit there and ridicule me because I don't get all rah-rah, yay over all this biggest recruiting weekend. Don't, you know, say what you're going to say because I failed to fall for the, well, Mario did this in Oregon. Imagine if we did that to Jimmy Johnson at Oklahoma State. Imagine if we did that to say Dennis Erickson at Washington State. See where I'm getting at? What about Al Golden at what was he at Penn State? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't care. I don't care what happened at Oregon. I don't care what happened at Oklahoma State. I don't care. Temple, thank you, Cuban. I don't care what happened at Temple. I don't care what players were sent to the NFL at Oregon. I don't care. What have you done for Miami? What are you doing for Miami? Okay? Because in my universe, okay, the South Coast Cane universe, what the fuck? Dog hit the fence there. Anyway, the only thing that matters in my universe is Miami. What are you doing for Miami? I don't care what you did for the team the year before. I don't care what you did at the team the last whatever years. I don't care. What are you doing for Miami now? And honestly, as far as Mario goes, yeah, you brought Cam Ward in because of the checkbook and the fancy steak dinner at Club Flamingo or whatever. Okay. But you still didn't have a defense last year. You know, living in the lands of what ifs. What if you didn't have Cam Ward last year? Because if you remember, this time last year, a lot of folks were not high on Cam Ward. They said he had a fumbling problem. A lot of folks talked about his interception problem. Those who exalt him as the greatest Miami quarterback of all time had doubts about him this time last year. Didn't think I knew that, did you? Didn't think I was paying attention. You know? And those same folks who were so high on Cam Ward, and that dude was pretty good, they're saying the same thing about Carson Beck. Well, he played at Georgia. He did this at Georgia. Guess what? I don't give a rat's ass what you did at whatever other school. Do it at Miami. But he must have had like 3 passes that were dropped by the Georgia receivers. I don't care. What is he going to do at Miami? I'll give a rat's ass what he did at, the Southside Prep Elementary School recess team. I don't care. What are you doing for Miami now? What are you doing for the team? You see where I'm getting at? And, a lot of folks, they get hung up on what, Mr. Beck did at Georgia. They're hung up on whatever transfer portal guy did at their school. I don't care. How does that transpose to what they're going to do at Miami? I don't know. We'll find out August 31st. And I don't know. I'm just tired of the bullshit at Miami. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the bullshit on the field. I'm tired of the bullshit that the coaching staff is producing. I'm tired of the bullshit that these Canes fans on social media are accepting and defending. I'm tired of it. Straight up, I'm tired of it. And I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to tell you what I think. And if you don't like it, I don't care. You don't have to watch this channel. You don't have to subscribe to this channel. You can unsubscribe. You can block me. I don't care. I don't care. But as for me and my channel, we're going to call it like it is. Okay? There's not going to be any of this, you know, well, I think, no. What did you see on the field? Okay. And it's just, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. If I misinterpret something I see on the field, then I will say I was wrong. But don't come at me saying I'm a number 3 hated Miami fan because I'm not all hyped about the big recruiting class that's coming to Miami this weekend. You know, Mario has put more people in the NFL than any other Miami coach. Don't come at me with, because I don't fall for the hype. Don't come at me because I pay attention. I pay attention to the man behind the curtain. All right? And just because I've been following the best I can this Miami football team for 45 years, that doesn't make me any better. It doesn't make me any worse. All right? But, you know, it is what it is. Just giving my opinion. Just like everybody else on this YouTube. And again, if you don't like it, I don't care. You want to call me names? I don't care. Call me what you want. I don't care. I don't care. You know? And again, all due respect to Coach Hayes. I am not trying to insult Coach Hayes in not at all. Not trying to insult Coach Hayes, but let's remember, Coach Hayes coached under Mario. Now, am I saying anything? No. I'm just saying. It is what it is. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that Coach Hayes is a Mario lover. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know the facts. You know. And, you know, last but not least, if and I'm not picking on Rocky, but I got to keep calling Rocky out. But if you're all about Mario, Rocky, knock yourself out, buddy. Do your thing. I'm not ridiculing you. I'm not insulting you. All I ask is, let's look at the facts. Okay? And yes, Miami went 10-3, had a 10-win season. But let's look at those 10 wins, shall we? All right? Just because Miami had a 10-win season doesn't mean those 10 wins meant anything. You couldn't beat Georgia Tech and you couldn't beat Syracuse. You had to come from behind against Virginia Tech. You had to come from behind against Cal. You had to play a shootout game against Louisville. All right. You had a 21-point lead to Syracuse and blew it. Luckily, Cal went into prevent mode, or it would have been a 72-10 game. UCF took the pressure off. UCF had the defense reeling, dude. The defense sitting there, make a tackle, celebrate. USF's on the field. They're on the line of scrimmage, ready to go. They're running hurry up, had the defense on their heels. But I will say this. That damn Florida team last year sucked ass. You know, for the 2024 Miami defense to do what they did against that Florida offense, before Lagway got in there, Florida sucked. But anyway, I've been sitting here rambling for about, hour, 10 minutes. But I'm just saying right now, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. If you don't like what I have to say, if you have insulting comments about me, if you have insulting comments about my channel, I don't care. Don't watch it. Don't subscribe. What is a puck? What is a puck? What is a Puck, Cuban? I don't know what a puck is. But anyway, if if you got a problem, if you disagree with what I have to say, well, again, you are always welcome. Anybody who disagrees or agrees is always welcome to join the show. It's going to be a little while because, season ain't started. You're always welcome to give your opinion, whether we agree or disagree. All I say is you got to come with the hockey. What's hockey? Never heard of hockey. But if you come on our show, if you come on my show and you have a difference of opinion, that's cool. That's fine. But just bring the facts. If you bring facts that justify your argument, hey, cool. I will. Hey, you're right. Woohoo! Phone fell. But yeah, if you come on and you give your side and you have facts, you have evidence, cool, down with it. But don't just, to those of you who just want to sit there and just say, we're clowns, we're the number 2, number 3, number 1 most hated Canes fans without any justification. It's cool. I ain't mad at you, but I don't understand you. All right? And if me, I try to keep it truth-based. I try to keep it fact-based. All right? Then, if I'm wrong, I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. But it is what it is. I really don't care. I really don't care. I'm not trying to intentionally, upset anybody. I'm not intentionally trying to insult anybody or any channel or any creator or anything. I'm just giving you what I think. And, this is not a king of the hill battle. This isn't about, I won the debate. No, I'm just saying, But it is what it is. And just for the record, I have a whole box of pencils. Whole box of pencils. But anyway, the best kind are the ones that are a little bit rubberized, that you can flex them bastards a little bit. Pow! I know all about Coach Hayes and them pencil wars. Look, I didn't win all the battles, but I won the wars though. When it came to those pencil wars. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, look. If you hate us, or if you hate me, if you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like the channel, I don't care. Go watch somebody else. Plain and simple. Block me. I don't care. I don't care. But anyway, peace, love, and soul. Let's go, Canes. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a lovely day, and happy Father's Day to everybody. Bye.